property, this would be absolutely fine. If it, and you don't know if I live here, or if this is my property.
Discrimination chooses no place. It can happen anytime to anyone.
Wear a mask, sir. You are not 6 feet away from those children. You're racist. During this pandemic, there were even some people who blamed us and called us out that we are disease carriers just because of our nationality. Words are indeed one of the most powerful tools to affect and create change. It has been said that our mouth speaks what our heart is full of. That is why we should put into our minds that we are what we speak, so that we can reflect and choose to do better. Let's fight against discrimination.
Indeed, we all know that discrimination against human rights is widely spreading in our society. It is a very heartbreaking fact that many people are forgetting the value of human rights. These made many victims suffer and build self-depression that might cause them to end their lives. But let's not forget that many are fighting to win their rights through justice. With this, victims can voice out their mind and punish the one who harms. To everyone who's listening in our advocacy, let's fight and win against discrimination.
Discrimination can be seen everywhere. It may be in schools, streets, or home. It is a brave decision for someone to come out and admit his or her identity to the public. LGBT is one of the targets who usually experience discrimination, especially in our country. Lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender should be treated respectfully. Let us not tolerate inequality in our society so that we could live in a world where everyone is allowed to show their true colors without fear that they would get treated differently. As long as you're not stepping on anyone, there's nothing wrong in saying this is me, or this is the person I want to show everyone. Let's fight and win against discrimination.
Us humans have our natural instinct to criticize one another, but we can never tell how our opinions may heavily affect others. Discrimination is the reason of our society's downfall. Up to this day, others still believe that our differences affect our worth, which isn't true. Because race, gender, or age doesn't define a person. Every individual has the right to live freely. Nothing should hinder them from having a free will, and no one should feel that they are lower than others. Discrimination doesn't bring us any good, but rather hatred. It spreads negativity towards the society. Hopefully, to everybody that is listening today on our broadcast, instead of trying to discriminate each other, let us try to bring out the best from one another.
Let's fight against discrimination.
And of course, let's not forget about racism. Racism happens a lot, and you can even be racialized by your own race. Research shows that 20 to 29% is the amount of racism happening here in the Philippines. You might be confused, because Filipinos are known to be generous and kind to foreigners. But this research shows how bad discrimination Filipinos do towards fellow Filipinos. Ethnic groups and provincial Filipinos are usually being discriminated against and looked down on because of their color. Being dark brown or black is considered as poverty or ugliness by others. Some even use ethnic groups as a term. When some people see beggars, they often refer to them as bajaus.
Let's fight against discrimination.
Discrimination doesn't only tackle about an individual's race or color. In fact, discrimination comes in different forms that can be seen anywhere. Talking about one of them, which is the job or the employment discrimination.
In the Philippines, unemployment rates in the country are surprisingly high. According to statistics, there are around 3.8 Filipino citizens that are jobless. Most of them are due to the coronavirus crisis.
where job discrimination takes place. If Filipinos try to end this form of discrimination, our unemployment rate can be reduced. We work hard to achieve our profession. And don't let us or the others take that away by this form of discrimination.
Discrimination is a common occurrence. Discrimination might be considered a crime if we are really looking deep into the details of what the possibilities of what it could do. Some may experience depression because of it, which can also be the cause of one's loss of motivation and negative view in life. One specific subject that I can relate to this is art. At one point in my life, I have seen new artists were criticized when it comes to their personal style of art, comparing them to the famous works and such, which deeply can discourage the person. So in hopes of making discrimination no more, we all should respect each other when it comes to what we are and what we do, as words can hurt one the most. It comes also to be the reason one may choose to live another day.
This discrimination has ravaged the world, making others handicapped because of it. Other people have suffered and other people have died. We as humans have no right to treat a person another certain way because of their skin. But there's a problem. Where does it come from? And how do we stop discrimination?
Discrimination usually stems from fear and misunderstanding from your peers, friends, and people around you. It usually begins in your own home, from what you observe from your parents. So parents, please make sure to teach your children to treat others fairly. We can stop this by opening our minds and recognize that we shouldn't blame others just because they're different.
Discrimination can be witnessed in different places, different scenario, and different people every day, which makes it important to inform the public of this issue.
With the current circumstances, we have more access to modern technology that open up many opportunities, but also given some people the chance to discriminate others online. So, discrimination can be witnessed everywhere and can happen in real life and online.
In the Philippines, there were groups such as Datu or Leader, Maharlika and Alipin, or in English, slaves. There was a saying, Maharlika sa Maharlika at Alipin sa Alipin. Free men are for free men and slaves are for slaves. The relationship between an uppercase and a lowercase is inappropriate because of the difference in mentality. Discrimination occurs when there is separation that shows favor for one, especially when the money is the basis for respect.
Let's fight and win against discrimination.
There are some instances that when someone finds out that the user is a person of color, they immediately attack them with insults and racist comments like Asians automatically being disease carriers just because they are Asian. Other times when someone is part of the LGBT plus community, they are treated like less as if they are animals just because of who they are and what they love. Not to mention people around here see same-sex relationships as immoral and unacceptable. Sometimes, there are even encounters of sexism, more on when it comes to women, with them being harassed, judged, and put down for just being women and for what they do or even how they appear.
As someone who has witnessed discrimination and has heard of its happening throughout this country and all over the world, it is an issue that must be resolved soon. With my fellow women still being limited from doing some actions and are not allowed to dress as we please, without the fear of being judged, harassed, or even worse.
People of color including us Filipinos, are seen as lower than white people, and are sometimes denied certain rights in other places just because of our skin color. They do not treat us as equals. There are also times where the government treat people of color harshly and even harm some of the people within the said group.
Members of the LGBT plus community still being denied the rights they need in our country and are still highly looked down upon, and even denied jobs from time to time.
I believe that we should strive to find a solution against discrimination in our country and to our people. At the very least, raise awareness about this topic.
Because it is for the better of our people to accept everyone and end discrimination.
A strive for the betterment of the treatments of others
Is a strive for a better and more accepting future.
is a strive for a better and more accepting future.